In an effort to revitalize the youth as a viable source of leadership, development, and productivity, the government reinstates its support to the empowerment of the youth through a much-improved Sangguniang Kabataan. The history of the Sangguniang Kabataan can be traced back to its earliest predecessor, the Kabataang Barangay, through PD 684. The Kabataang Barangay was tasked to implement programs and projects on sports, education, livelihood, and culture. It also had a KB National Secretariat to look after operations. The Kabataang Barangay eventually faced criticisms, especially issues related to political dynasties. 2 years after the implementation of Kabataang Barangay, the Pambansang Katipunan ng Kabataang Barangay ng Pilipinas was signed into action by Ferdinand Marcos to streamline and strengthen the organizational structure of the Kabataang Barangay, making it more autonomous to ensure the enthusiastic, continuing participation of the Filipino youth in the affairs of the nation. In 1987, the Presidential Council for Youth Affairs was created in place of the Kabataang Barangay National Secretariat. Its chairman and members are appointed by the President, and it provides a forum for continuing dialogue between the government and the youth sector. The Local Government Code of 1991 created the Sangguniang Kabataan, thereby abolishing the Kabataang Barangay. The Local Government Code also institutionalized the allocation of 10% of the general fund of the barangay solely for youth development. SK Council members were elected by the Katipunan ng Kabataan. The SK became the youth's platform in local governance as the body tasked to initiate programs for the development of the youth. By virtue of Republic Act 8044, the National Youth Commission was created, replacing PCYA. The NYC was tasked to promote the youth's well-being and lead youth development activities. The commission is led by the youth themselves, the chairman being aged 18 to 45, and the commissioners being 18 to 40 years in age. In the reformed Sangguniang Kabataan, federations will only be up to the provincial level. In effect, the seat for the SK Pambansang Federasyon is abolished. Reforms in the SK were first institutionalized in 2002. The age of Katipunan ng Kabataan members and qualified SK candidates were changed to 15 up to 17 years of age. Common SK-sponsored activities are basketball leagues, beauty pageant contests, and building of sitio and barangay arcs. Clamor for more reforms in the SK were eventually raised because of issues on corruption, political dynasties, and readiness of SK officials. To give time for SK reforms, the 2013 SK elections was postponed by virtue of RA 10632. SK officials vacated their positions upon expiration of their term. While SK positions are vacant, a task force on youth development in every barangay was formed to oversee the utilization of the SK funds. 3 years after the last SK elections, the SK Reform Act was signed into law. A new logo was also fashioned for the reformed SK. The letters S and K has a 10-degree tilt higher to the right and goes beyond the circle. This symbolizes the 10 SK positions for people who are geared to step up and be the key persons in leadership programs. The soft and shallow curved line of the letters S and K show youthfulness and sense of ease, which describes the new generation of Filipino youth leaders. The colors of the logo is patterned after the Philippine flag. The first major reform of the SK is the extension of the age range of the KK and SK officials. Qualified candidates for SK will be of legal age and better equipped to handle the responsibilities of the job upon assumption of office. The SK Reform Act also introduced an anti-political dynasty provision, the first of its kind in the country. The next salient feature is fiscal autonomy. The expenditure of the 10% of the internal revenue allotment for the SK will be put in the hands of the SK officials instead of the barangay council. A local youth development office, as well as a local youth development council, will be established in every province, city, and municipality. The National Youth Commission, in cooperation with the DILG, will institute mandatory trainings to make sure that SK officials are well equipped before assuming office. An SK operations manual will also serve as a day-to-day guide for SK officials. The Sangguniang Kabataan shall consult their constituents for the formulation of a 3-year plan called Comprehensive Barangay Youth Development Plan. The CBYDP will be the basis for the annual Youth Investment Plan. Youth development plans in the municipal, city, and provincial levels will be subject to the approval of LYDC. Now that reforms are in place, it is up to the youth to maximize it. Youth won't be complete without you. Yes, you are an integral part of the SK's transformation. Tara na kabataan! Simulan na natin ang bagong SK.